All right, let's dive into a really fascinating story from ancient India today. It's a tale about a king whose victory was so massive, he decided to build a palace that would outshine the heavens themselves. But, his lesson in humility, it didn't come from some powerful god. Nope, it came from a mysterious little boy and a simple, ordinary line of ants.
But here's the thing. This isn't just some old myth. It asks a question that is so relevant to every single one of us. What happens when our success turns into arrogance? When does that pride in what we've accomplished cross a line and become a dangerous flaw? Well, this is the exact lesson that the king of the gods, Lord Indra, is about to learn the hard way. So, let's start at the beginning. Part 1. The Ego of Victory. Our story kicks off at a moment of just absolute, total triumph for the king of the gods. So, picture this. Indra has just won this epic battle against his biggest enemies, the demons. The heavens are going wild, and he is the undisputed hero of the hour. But with that incredible success comes an equally incredible amount of pride, and it quickly starts to morph into something a lot more dangerous. This right here becomes his mantra. It's what he's thinking all the time. He's not just the king of the gods anymore. In his mind, he is the single greatest being in the entire cosmos. We're talking heaven, earth, the underworlds, the whole shebang. And this belief, it's what's going to drive everything that happens next. Part 2. The Palace of the God King. So what do you do when you have an ego that big? How do you show everyone just how great you are? Well, you decide to build a monument to yourself, of course. This wasn't just going to be a house. It was a statement. Indra had this vision of a palace so grand, so unbelievably spectacular, that it would be an eternal symbol of his power. It had to be the absolute best, with no competition anywhere in the universe. Indra's ego spirals out of control really fast and becomes a problem for everyone. He starts pushing the divine architect, Vishwakarma, to the absolute breaking point with non-stop demands for more, more, more. Finally, Vishwakarma is just totally exhausted and goes to a higher power, Lord Brahma, the creator. Brahma takes one look at the situation and realizes it's gotten out of hand, so he goes to the preserver of the universe, Lord Vishnu. And Vishnu? He just smiles because he knows Indra doesn't need a lesson in architecture, he needs a lesson in humility. Part 3. The Mysterious Boy. Okay, this is where the story takes a really unexpected turn. The divine help that's coming, it doesn't show up with a big flashy display of power. It's much more subtle than that. So, as Indra is proudly looking over his ever-growing monument to himself, this young boy just appears at the gates. He's described as being bright and wise beyond his years, with this peaceful vibe about him. But Indra, he's so blinded by his own importance, he just sees a kid. The boy asks what seems like a totally innocent question, but it's actually brilliant. It's a perfectly designed prompt to get Indra to say the quiet part out loud, to put his massive ego on full display right before the big lesson. And now we get to part 4, the truth of the ants. And of course, presented with this seemingly simple question, Indra completely takes the bait. Did you catch the emphasis there? My palace. He doesn't see it as a home for all the gods, but as his own personal trophy. And then he calls it the most glorious in the entire universe. I mean, that is just pure, undiluted hubris talking. At this exact moment, something completely ordinary happens. A long, disciplined line of ants just marches right across the construction site. It's a super mundane thing, something Indra would never even have noticed. But for our mysterious boy, it's the perfect teaching moment. And the boy doesn't just chuckle, he laughs. A deep, knowing laugh that seems to hold all the secrets of the universe. Indra is totally confused, and honestly, he's a little offended. I mean, why is this kid laughing at him, at the sight of his greatest achievement? He demands to know what's so funny. And this is it. The boy just lays down the truth. He looks at Indra and says, each one of these ants was once an Indra, just like you. Each one ruled the heavens, fought great battles, and when their time was done, was reborn back into the great cycle of life. In that one single moment, Indra's whole world just falls apart. His idea that he was special, that he was the greatest is just gone. He wasn't the first Indra. He wasn't going to be the last. He was just one more in an endless line, just like the tiny ants marching at his feet. So let's get into part 5, the cycle of time. Because this whole thing wasn't just about knocking Indra down a peg, it was about teaching him a really profound truth about how reality actually works. Indra learned about this incredible concept known as Kshanabhangaruta.
It's the deep, deep realization that everything, and I mean everything, power, money, fame, even life itself, is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. In the enormous sweeping cycle of cosmic time, even the reign of a king of the gods is just a blink of an eye.
And he didn't just think about it, he acted on it immediately. The first thing he did, he stopped construction on that monument to his ego. He finally understood his small but important place in the universe. And, crucially, he shifted his focus away from himself and back to his dharma, his real purpose, his duty as a leader. And this is what brings the lesson right back to us. Indra's palace was a real, physical thing, but we all build our own monuments to our ego, don't we? Our careers, our reputation, our ambitions. So the story leaves us with one final, very powerful question. In this great cycle of time, what is your palace? And what is it that truly matters?